All right, guys, we're getting ready to do some SAT prep. Get your books out, get ready. We're going to be doing practice test number 5 today from the actual SAT. The link is in the window. We're going to be going live in 3, 2, 1. Oh, let me try that again. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? This is Brian with RadicalPrep. We're going to be doing SAT prep today. I put the link in the window below. We're going to be doing SAT math test number 5. So I'm just going to be doing it from that one because the last time I did one of these videos, I had you bouncing all around. And I think it's probably easier for you to just pick out one test. And I figured I'll just go over some tips, strategies, all that stuff just for one test. So definitely click in the link in the window. It's, obviously the test looks like this. You can download it, write on it, or just check it out on the screen. So we're going to be doing practice test. This is number 5 from the actual SAT website. Link is in the window. All right, let's check it out. We're going to be doing question number 1. Let me put that up on the screen. And let me just make sure you guys are getting this feed. All right, cool. Looks like some people are in the room. I'm going to say hi to everybody. Hey, everybody. Type it in real quick. All right, cool. So hopefully the audio and everything's working. Let's actually do some problems. So the first one that I have up here on the screen, question number 10. The reason I picked it is because it's kind of like just a good one to look at because you can solve this question in a number of ways. One, you can use reverse foiling or FOIL. Another way is to pick numbers. So let's take a look at this. Let's see here. This is, and it says a squared plus b squared equals z and ab equals y. Which of the following is equivalent to 4z plus 8y? So maybe the first thing I want to do is just write everything out. 4z, right? So that's just this whole thing times 4. So that's 4a squared plus b squared. And then they say 8y, right? So that's what y is equal to. So I'll just multiply that whole thing by 8, right? I'm having problems writing this in there, but so that whole thing times 8. So it's all this stuff plus 8y. So that's 8ab. So now, in this format, this doesn't look quite the way we want it to look. So I could just rearrange it. And let's stick the ab in the middle. So that's 4a squared plus 8ab plus b squared. So you should be getting something like that, or excuse me, what happened to my 4? There should be a 4 there, sorry. 4b squared, let me write that again. That was 4 times everything. I'm sorry, guys. Let me write it again. 4a squared plus 8ab plus 4b squared. All right, cool. So now, when you do your reverse FOIL or you figure out how do I make this stuff look like my answer choices, you're going to do your double bubble, right? So you can do this, put your butt cheeks in, as they used to say in school. Now, how do I make a 4a squared? Well, if it's going to be, everything here is something squared, it's going to be 2 times 2. And how do I make a b squared? Well, it's got to be 2 times 2. And I'm really, the point of me doing it this way is I don't want to do too much work. On the SAT, you got to save time on test day. You don't want to be sitting here doing every single little thing. And do I have to figure out the middle terms? Or do I have to make sure everything works? Well, probably not. I know this is going to be a plus, and I'm going to put this in here. But let me go back for a second, and I asked you, how do you make an a squared? Or 4a squared? Well, you put 2's in, right? And how do I make a b squared? You put 2's in. And the only one that really does that is choice B. Because if you look at the other choices, let's look at C. Well, what's 4 squared? 4 squared is 16. You don't have a 16. 4 squared, 16. A squared, right? This is just a plus 2b times a plus 2b. This one's just an a squared. So you never really get the 4. So by default, you got to pick this one. It's going to be choice B. All right, so let me ask you guys a question. I want to go back here for a second. Let's say you're doing this question and you had absolutely no idea how to do it. You don't know foiling. You don't know anything else. You're coming into test day taking like one math class. What are you going to do? All right. Hopefully you should be saying, let me hear it, pick numbers. All right. So let's go back. All right. I'm playing with this new system here. So let me erase the entire board. Now, what does picking numbers mean? Some of you guys should be telling me the answer at home. What is picking numbers? Let me bring up my thing here so I can figure out. Yeah, 4b squared. Sorry, I'm looking at some of the responses here. So, who knows how to pick numbers? All right. Let's say you're going to do this, right? And you don't know what A is, you don't know what B is. So you go on your paper. Super easy way to do this without foiling. Let's pick A equals, I don't know. Let's say A equals 1 and B equals 2. Let me just make sure I brought this up on the screen. So using those numbers, you guys should be able to do the problem and get a correct answer. Well, how do you do that? Well, let's do it. Let's just fill in A squared. So that's going to be 1 squared plus, now B is 2. 2 squared equals Z, right? So that's going to be 1 plus 4, so that's 5. Sorry, I'm kind of writing this backwards. So Z equals 5 with the numbers that we picked. Let's keep going. AB. Well, A is 1, B is 2. So that's just going to be 1 times 2 equals Y. So Y equals 2. So now what do? Now we go on to this next part of the equation. 4Z plus 8Y. And I'll do the work over here, I guess. Let me just make some space. 4Z plus 8Y. So that's going to be 4Z. 4 times Z, which is 5, which is 20. And then 8Y. Well, 8Y is 16. 8 times 2, right? I'm just plugging in 8Y. That's 16. Sorry, I'm still getting used to writing this on the, doing this live. So 20. Remember, these whole things were being added, right? 4Z plus 8Y. 20 plus 16 is 36. So now you didn't have to do any foiling, right? So now you got to go find, here's your magic answer or your magic number. Go find it in your answer choices. And if you plug in, this is going to be 1, right? Because we said A is 1. 1 plus 2 times 2, which is 4. So 1 plus 4 squared, that's 5 squared is 25. Wrong answer. And again, I'm not going to waste your time, but I want to show you this is another way to get the problem right without having to know picking or having to know foiling, reverse foiling, anything like that. So you can get rid of these choices. And if you plug in, what's 2 times 1? Because we're just using our numbers. 2 times 1 is 2 plus, what's B? We said B was 2. That's 4. 2 times 2 is 4. And what do you know? What's 2 plus 4 squared? 6 squared is 36. So I just wanted to give you 2 ways to do a problem like that, and let me just kind of talk to you real quick. You should always know how to do a question 2 ways. You can pick numbers, you can use the answer choices to help you out. In this situation, all we're doing is we're going to be picking numbers. The other way, we use foiling and reverse foiling. So this is a good question just to show you that there's kind of 2 ways to do the problem. All right, so let's move on. Again, we're on practice test number 5. The link to get this test is down below. So if you want to follow along, we're on test number 5, section 3. And now we're going to move on to number 12. All right, so let's check it out. Number 12. Let me get rid of this. Sorry, it takes a second. Number 12. All right, let me go back to the screen here and clean it up. And I hope everyone's doing well. I know school is stressful. You're in the summertime right now, but try and get your practice in so you don't have to stress out and freak out during the year. At least if you practice now, you can feel good when you get back to school. All right. Let's see here. Where I want to go? Number 12. There it is. All right. I just got to fix the screen. number 12. And I'm going to try and respond to what you guys say in the chat also, just because, you know, I like seeing what you say and like seeing where everybody's from and how they're doing. So we're going to do, this is number 12 on test number 5 on practice test 5. This is section 3. All right. Okay. Question like this. Let me ask you guys. Do you know your exponent rules? And what I mean by that is, you know, normally you look at a question like this and you're like, oh, okay, like if it's squared to the fourth to the half, that's easy. What happens when it's to the 3/4? So let's take a look. All right, let me get this screen ready. All right. I hope you guys are learning from this and you enjoy it. And I actually like tutoring a lot, and I hope you're getting something out of this. So when I look at this question, I kind of figure there's 2 ways to do this. And when I see 3/4, I don't like that fraction. So I want to try and change something to the 3/4. So one way I could think about this is I'm going to rewrite it. 9 to the 3/4 is equal to, and it's going to be 9 to the something times 9 to the something. And I'm splitting up because when I have like bases, I add the exponent. So how does that help me? Well, let's split up 3/4 into 1/4. And then what's left over? Well, 1/4 plus 2/4. 2/4. Right? Well, 1/4 plus 2/4 is 3/4. So this is mathematically sound. We're good. Let's keep going. I don't know what 9 to the 4th is yet, but I know what 9 to the 2/2 is, right? Or 2/4. 9, and I'll just rewrite it here. 9 to the 2/4 is the same thing as 9 to the half. And you guys at home who's watching, what is 9 to the half, right? That's the square root of 9. That's the same thing as radical 9. I really got to work in this handwriting. It's starting to get kind of crappy, but so radical 9 is 3. So that is 3. But we still have 9 to the 1/4. So kind of the funny thing here is, do I actually have to do more work? I don't really think so. And this is a nice thing. This is what I'm trying to show you on the SAT. Like, you remember that scene from that Paul Rudd movie? Or was it, what was that Paul Rudd movie? And Jason Segel, or I forget his name, when he's like, do less, do less. Nah, you got to do more than that. Get up off the board. Do less. What was it? Forgetting Sarah Marshall, right? So he's just telling them, do less, do less. That's what you want to do in the SAT. You want to do less, all right? You got to do something, though. So the do less here, and why I brought that up, I'm kind of sidetracked, is this is going to be 3 times something. Well, the only answer that has 3 times something is choice D. So you're done. So you did something, but we're going to do less. But let's say you wanted to continue to do the problem. 9 to the 4th, I can rewrite 9 as 3 squared. And that whole thing is still to the 4th, right? And the times 3 is still there. So 3, a power to a power, you multiply. That's the rule. So 3 squared to the 4th is 3 to the half. Sorry, my writing's kind of sucking here. And 3 to the half, as we learned here, anything to a half is the square root. So this reduces to the square root of 3 times 3. Choice D. Make sense? All right, cool. You guys have another way to do that problem? There probably is another way. You can definitely shout it out in the room. Let me fix the screen here. The dock. Put this on the left. Sorry guys, I'm trying to fix the screen here. Put this on the bottom. Okay, let me check this out. All right. So the answer is D. I hope you guys, so far so good. So far so good. You guys understanding everything? You can write in is there an easier way to do the problem? Somebody just wrote. I don't know. Is there an easier way? Is there an easier way? Well, the only problem is this is a non-calculator section, right? So easier way would just be plug it into the calculator. The only issue that I have with maybe an easier way, I mean, I thought the way I did it was pretty easy. Sometimes I take a little while explaining, but that's because I want you to understand, and me just blasting through the problem really doesn't help anybody out. Like if I'm going to do this on test day, all my thoughts are not being written on the page. I'm just going through and doing it. I mean, the other way you could maybe do it is if you said, I don't know, how else could you do this? All right, let's simplify 9. So let's make 9 3 squared to the 3/4. Power to a power, you multiply. So that's 3 to the 6/4. But then you still have to split this up. So that's 3 to the 4/4 times 3 to the 2/4, right? Same base. You just add the exponents. 4/4 plus 2/4 is 6/4. So 3 to the 4/4, that's just 3 to the 1, which is 3. And 3 to the 2/4 is radical 3. All right, maybe that's easier? I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm not exactly sure if that's easier. I mean, it's different for everybody, because you look at these problems, whatever you think is easy, someone else might go, that's not the way I would have done it. So that's kind of the nice thing about math, is that there's different ways to do the problem. So I don't know if that's easier, but we're going to move on. So again, let me just let you know, this is test number 5, section 3, and we're going to do number 14. So practice test 5, section 3, number 14. Let's check out that one. How's everyone doing today? Where's everybody from? Yeah, I like what Ahmed Ninja or Ahmed Ninja. I don't know. One of the ninja here says we can make 9 into 3, right? 3 squared. So that works. Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's do number 14. So I'll get you there. If you guys are just following along with me on the page, just give me a second. 14. All right. So I'm gonna have to zoom out on this a little bit, just because it's a giant problem. Let's see. Did I actually let you guys see it on the screen? Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, you can see it. All right. So this has an equation, f of x equals 2 to the x plus 1. Here's your equation up here on the top. And it says the function f is defined by the equation above. Which of the following is the graph of negative f of x in the xy plane? So just make sure when you look at this, you're not picking this. You're picking the negative version of this. All right. So the first thing I would probably say to you guys is you should probably know what this looks like. And even if you didn't know, couldn't you just pick some points and figure it out real quick? Like if I drew the xy plane and I pick x is 0. So when x is 0, what happened? 2 to the 0 is 1. So that's just when x is 0, that's 2 to the 0 plus 1, which is 1 plus 1, which is 2, right? So you know you're going to have a point there. And now this is an exponential growth. So what happens as the numbers get bigger? When x is 2, when x is 3, when x is 4, this thing grows exponentially, right? Getting really, really, really big. So you should know that your graph looks something like that originally, okay? And that should make sense. As x gets bigger and you go to the right, your y values get really, really big, right? Because 2 to the 4th is 16, 2 to the 5th is 32, big numbers. All right, so now, what happens when we just make this y is negative f of x? So let me ask you this. The x function that goes in, do the x values ever change? That's the question I want to ask you. Are the x's actually getting negatived or made negative? You should be saying at home no, right? Like, let's say I put in 2 to this equation. If I put 2 in here, I'm still just doing the function. Let me erase this, sorry. Let me save that again. I guess my point is, let me just put the graph here. If I know my graph looks like this, and when I put my x values in, I'm still just evaluating f of x first. But what am I doing? Once I do that, I just take every single point, then I make it negative. So instead of 2, that's going to be here. Whatever's here is going to be here. Whatever's there is going to be there. So that's it. This is a reflection over y equals 0, or a reflection over the x-axis. So now the only thing is, because my screen is so freaking messed up here, I gotta go find that answer, right? So let me just scroll. Not A, right? Not B. Oh, that's looking pretty good. The only thing is, can I zoom? No. We didn't cross the x-axis, right? So it's got to be C. I hope that made sense. I'm sorry, this thing is like, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Let me see here. Can I zoom out? But I hope that explanation makes sense, is that you can still just pick points and kind of figure out where you're at. There we go. Why can't I zoom out more? Can I zoom out more? No, that's it. All right. Should we check it? Does everyone agree that that should be what we say? Choice C? What is everyone saying in the chat room? What do you guys think? I'll ask you guys, is C? Is it C? Do we agree? And does that make sense? Does that explanation make sense? I hope it does. All right. We have another Ahmed. We've got Ahmed the Ninja, Ahmed Noor. All right, cool. Chris, Nappy, we're all in agreement? All right, cool. If we're in agreement, let's move on. We don't need to stick around and waste our time. Let's do another question. All right, so the next one I want to do is section 4. I'm going to go to section 4 now. Section 4. So keep flipping the pages if you got them. Number 8. All right. So the reason why I picked this one, sorry, just give me a second to scroll. Section 4, number 8. All right, cool. So why did I pick this one to show you guys? Honestly, because I think it's a question that you don't, again, remember the Paul Rudd analogy or that movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where I'm like, do less. You know, that's what I want you to do for this question. I want you to do less. So if you're on the SAT and you're doing a whole lot of calculation, you're doing too much. You're staying, you know, I was going to make a corny line like you're staying on the surfboard or something like that. But the whole point is to do less. So how do you do less on this question? Let's see here. Well, which of the following is equivalent to the form of all that? So let's look at it. This one over here, this expression, I'm going to write out 1.5, and you can use a calculator on this section. So they give you something like this so you can sit there and plug away in your calculator, which I don't recommend doing. So this is really 1.5x minus 2.4 times 1.5x minus 2.4. That's just the left side, right? So what I'm going to recommend is this. All of these, here's the trick in my opinion. All of these have a last term that is different. So I could just calculate the last term. So really it's going to be that minus that, right? I'll double underline it. That term minus this term. So let's just calculate it. It's negative 2.4 squared, right? 2.4 times 2.4 minus, and I'm not going to write the whole thing out because really it's just going to be negative 6.4. So that's my trick for that one. So you can literally pop it into your calculator real quick. Negative 2.4 squared is negative 5.76. Or excuse me, not negative. There's no way it could be negative. So I just put it in the calculator wrong. 5.76 minus negative 6.4. Right? So that's the trick. Minus negative 6.4. The answer is, what did I do? Oh, 12.16, 12.16. So the answer is C. And that's it. You don't really have to evaluate everything. Okay, that's the trick to that one. The other trick I would say, if you look at this question, you're going to have middle terms. And what I mean by that is, let me erase here. What's up, Shariful? I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher your name, but how you doing, Sharif? Shariffle sounds like a new flavor at Baskin Robbins. Sharif, how you doing? I said you're going to have middle terms. Look at this. Look at these two answers here, A and B. Where are the x's? When you FOIL something like this, remember I just wrote it? I'll write it again. 1.5x minus 2.4. 1.5x minus 2.4. Don't you get middle terms when you do FOIL? There's the inside, there's the outside, right? You get x's. This one and this one don't even have x's. So that's another way you can speed up the question. You can get rid of those answers. But again, my tip was look at the last term. They're all different. So just figure out what the last term is. All right, cool. Next question, test number 5, number 11. Okay, this one's, I kind of just wanted to give you this one because there was not really a tip, but it's kind of like asking you if you know the trick. Let's see. Number 11. I don't think it's really a hard question, but you should know how to do it. Let me just put this up on the screen. I'll say hi to you guys again. Let me check the what you guys are saying. What's up, everybody? It's me, Brian, again, Radical Prep, doing test number, what did I say? Test number 5, section 4, number 11. It's the one on the screen if you want to follow along. All right, cool. All right. So this one says, in the xy plane, the graph of which of the following equations is perpendicular to the graph of the equation above? There's a little rule for this. You should know it. Hopefully you're saying it at home. How do I know if a line is perpendicular to another one? Well, they should have negative reciprocal slopes. So one way you can do that, and I don't know if this is the fastest way, but this is what my body is telling me to do. Just solve for y right now. So I'll add the 2x to both sides. I gotta get a better pen for this. 2x to both sides. So that's 3y equals 2x plus 6. And then divide by 3. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. Cross out. So you get y equals 2/3 x plus 2. Right? I just divided 3 into both of those. All right. So I guess the next question is, this is the equation of the line I have. The negative reciprocal equation, or the negative, let me start over. The slope of the line that's perpendicular is going to be the negative reciprocal of that. So you're looking for negative 3/2 x. That's what you want. So which one of those equations have it? Could you do it in your head real quick if you solved? We'll move the 3x over. So that's good. 3's in the top, right? So maybe anything with a 3x we keep because that leaves 3 in the top. So boom, boom. Those two are gone. Why do I like doing that? Because let's say you were at 4 seconds left and that teacher's in the front like, pencils down! And you're sitting there and you're like, oh crap, I gotta figure out an answer. At least you can narrow it down to 2. So now we got negative 3x on the other side, right? For each of these. I'm trying to do a little bit of mental math to speed up my test day. Minus 3x on both sides. All right. So then what am I dividing by? I want to get 2 on the bottom. So I got to divide by 2. Choice A. And you could do the workout again. You could write all the workout. I'm not going to do that just because, you know, again, the point of this is to save time. I think I just put up the screen. There we go. Oh, we got a New Jersey person. Awesome. Let me switch this over. Sorry. Let me put this up. So I hope we're all in agreement on that one. Does everyone agree that pretty much number 11 was A, and the way I did it was you just have to find the negative reciprocal. So just take the slope, flip it, and then add a negative. And whichever answer that is, that's your answer. Like whichever answer choice has that, obviously that's your answer. So cool. I think I'm going to do one more and then call it a night. Let me see. All right, thanks to you. You've helped me pass the algebra regions. Awesome. I didn't know people here were looking at my algebra stuff. That's awesome. We're going to do one more. We'll do maybe what I think is the hardest question out of the ones I picked. So this is section 4, we'll look at number, I don't know. Let's see. Section 4, last one here. Well, if you think they're too easy, then you can email me with difficult questions you guys want me to do. So take a look in the SAT, or I can do one that's more difficult problems, but always, you know, if you guys think this is too easy, let me know what problems you want to do. I try and do a couple of different types. Number 36. All right, so let's go to that one. This is a harder question, so you guys can stick around if you thought the other ones were too easy. Here's a harder one. End of section. And we can also, maybe the next video I'll do, what do you guys think, will just be all end of section questions. All right. So here's number 36. Let me just get the screen situated here. All right. 1 second. All right, number 36. Let me move the, I can't figure out how to lock the dock on this thing so I can get more screen. Okay. All right, cool. So here's number 36, the last one in this section. It says, point P is the center of the circle in the figure above. What is the value of X? All right, so I'll give you a second to look at that. All right, take a look. Figure out what you would do. I'll give you a hint. You could manipulate this picture, draw some lines maybe to help you out. What would you do? All right. I like it. Someone said isosceles. Chris, good idea. How do we make the isosceles? What can I do? There's one line that I think you could draw that's like, if you drew this line on the paper, you're 99% there to getting the answer. All right, let's see. Hopefully I'll ask the question and I'll draw it in, because nobody wants to just look at a math picture for the entire night. What can I do? Where can I draw my line? Well, I can do, one way to do it is something like this. Bop, 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 bop. So now, since this is a radii of a circle, and that line I just drew is a radii, right? That angle is equal to that angle. Equal sides have equal corresponding angles. This angle corresponds to that wall, and this angle corresponds to that wall. So that's also, hopefully this will fit, that's also 20. So now in this triangle, how much is a triangle equal? Well, we should all know triangles have 180 degrees. So that's 20, that's 20. 180 minus 40 is 140. Okay, so there's 140 there. Well, I kind of have the same situation on this side now, right? Boom, boom. Same triangle, right? It's another isosceles triangle with a 20 degrees here. So that's also 20. So what is that? That is 140 as well, right? It's just the same triangle again. So far everybody good? We kind of in agreement? And the last thing you got to do, or you should see, I'll turn this over here. Is this a highlighter? You have a circle here. It wasn't what I was looking for, but in there we have 140, 140, and X. So circle has 360. So you could do, actually people are probably saying there's two ways to do this, but 360 minus a 40 minus 140, that's 280. So your answer should be 80 degrees. All right, the quicker way, I just realized, and some of you guys doing the problem might have realized that, green. If this angle is 40, that angle there is half of this one right here. So if that was 40, this one's 80. One of you guys can look up the rule. Honestly, I don't even remember what the stinking rule is, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Any questions? Let me go back and look at the chat, see if you guys had any issues with that one. Where did this go? Make sense? Someone said BAC is 40. Isn't there a theory for this kind of problem? I don't remember what it's called though. Yeah, I don't remember either. I have no idea, you know. So someone said you can draw a line from B to C. So I'm not exactly sure how that helps you. Does that help you guys? I don't know. If you draw something from B to C, I don't know. Not exactly sure. Yeah, I'll post this afterwards. Don't worry, you guys will have the questions. So again, I'm gonna try and get a website going and hopefully offer some of this stuff, some stuff for free. I'm gonna offer some like premium stuff where I got, I'll show you some of the strategies that I don't exactly show you here. Because I'm trying to make some money doing this too. It's nice to help you guys out, and I appreciate it. I know SAT is rough to practice for, but this does take my time up, and I love the thank yous and I love the help. But I'd also like to make some money off of this. So with your help, maybe you can let me know what you guys would want, what you guys would pay for. I know because on YouTube you get a ton of free stuff, and there's like a million places you can go. But if you like the way I tutor and teach, I'm sure I can show you guys some other stuff that's worthwhile. So if you can, take a second, let me know what you would like to see in a website or what would be good for you. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to do any more new questions, but I'll answer some questions in the room. The Ninja, my friend, Ahmed Ninja, what's your question? You can put it in and I'll read it. The previous question was, what was it, number 11? So I'll go back to that one. If you're still in the room, let me know. Yeah, definitely email me questions. Let me know what you're going through, some of the issues you have. Okay, so can't we say that both slopes times each other and what will give us -1 is the answer? I'm not exact. Let me go back first. Sometimes it helps. I want to try and understand what you're saying here. So this was question number 8. Oh no, number 11. We'll go back. Number 11. All right, let's see here. Number 11. Okay, so Ahmed had a question about number 11. So your question is, can't we say that both slopes times each other and what will give us -1 is the answer? Okay, so what are you multiplying though in this question? That's the only question. So I guess my question would be for you, are you doing, oh, did I leave it on here? Sorry, I gotta put it back. My bad. I just realized you guys are looking at my face. All right, so Ahmed had a question about this one, and you said, maybe this is a faster way. Maybe you're teaching me something here. Someone goes, you got a nice TV, dude. Yeah, man, I had to save up for that. That's like a 65-inch flat screen, which I barely watch anyway. That's hysterical. Yeah, I had to mounting that to the wall was such a pain because one of the bolts, when I turned it, it snapped. So that thing is literally hanging from 3 bolts. One of them is just in the wall. So when I move or sell this place, it's going to have just a bolt hanging in the wall. That's hysterical. All right, so for this question, Ahmed, back to you. You said, what was your question? Can't we say that both slopes times each other and whatever gives it? Yeah, I guess you could say that, but the only thing is you still have to do work, right? So both the slopes of the questions and the answer. So I guess, Ahmed, just answer this question. In this example in number 11, are you just multiplying -2x and whatever? That's what I don't understand. What are you multiplying? And yes, hanging this thing with 3 bolts is probably hella dangerous. But if you saw how tight these other 3 bolts in, it's like you'd need a, I was there with 2 arms cranking this thing. So that thing's on there, trust me. There's a rule for that 2 lines to be perpendicular. The product of the, yeah, we went over that. That's fine, Mr. Kobe Carson. We did that in the question. The only thing I have is there a faster way without finding the slopes? Like, can you look at this question? Maybe like -2 times 3. See how it's negative? I don't know. I kind of get what you're saying. I just don't know. Like, if I had to teach this, what would my steps be? Would I tell someone you multiple negative? Let's see this. -2 times 3 is -6. So in this one, 3 times 2 is 6. I don't know. I don't know what the trick would be. I'd have to look at it. Maybe you might be onto something. I don't know if there's a fast way to do it though. So he says -2 divided by 3 times the same thing with the answers. Okay, so you're just doing -2 and then you're doing it like this. So you know, so you're saying, I guess, see, the only thing is, hold on. In this one, your slope, you have to divide by 3. Let me just see here. This one you divide by 3 because that's the y. You want to get y by itself. So -2/3. And then you, in your answer choices, you just say, okay, I'm dividing by y, so that's 2. Dividing by y, that's 2. So the value in the x is 3/2. Yeah, that might work. That's not a bad idea. The only thing is I'd be careful because that works here, but if the question is slightly different, you know how sometimes you're like, oh, that's what I do for these questions. I just do this thing and I always get the right answer. And then the question asks something slightly different and you've answered the wrong question. That would be my only concern when doing this, because I wouldn't want you to do the question and then like, oh yeah, I know my trick. And then, so maybe you're onto something, Ahmed. That might work. That might be pretty good. Yeah, I know what you were saying. You said 3 divided by, yeah, that could work. I would just be careful about doing that in the future, because make sure you're really answering the question. That might be a fast way to do it though. The other thing I would say is make sure you divide the numbers correctly. That's why I swing everything over, because at least I know it looks like y equals mx plus b format, and I'm just dividing correctly. All right, so I'm going to end here. I got stuff to do. I want to eat some dinner. It's 6:20 where I'm at. Let me know what you thought of the video, if it was helpful. Good luck on your studying. You can always email me. I'm going to try and get my website going and give you some premium content, go over more of the tests, show you some strategies, which I don't show you here. And then, you know, good luck to you. All right, guys, take care. Have a great Thursday, and enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to you later.